And what do you have for us today?
Well, I know it looks like I cleared out the very back reaches of the Golf Digest equipment closet, or maybe the trunk of my car, but this is a wonderful part of the equipment industry. These are all small putter makers. I mean, very small.
I was going to say, these are not putters that I actually could say I recognize.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of space in the retail landscape, but these are examples of the one club in the bag that is so emotional that a guy in his garage can make something that resonates with the consumer, and he can make a pretty good business in small numbers. He can do different things in small numbers that maybe a big player might not be able to do.
The fact that small market putter manufacturers still exist, that's a little shocking to me.
Well, they still all believe in the Karsten Solheim story of selling putters out of the trunk of his car, and obviously rising to found Ping and become one of the major players in the game. Maybe these guys don't see that broad a future for themselves, but because of the internet, because of things like Facebook and the way it's easier to get your message across, they can make a decent living, like I said, and more importantly, they can do things differently and faster maybe than a bigger company.
These aren't just putters. These are, in a sense, people. Can you walk me through these individual stories?
Sure. Let's start on kind of the right side of the table here, and all these four have kind of a tour story behind them. Let's look at the Peretti Cottonwood 2. Again, a heavier metal, softer metal, heavier head design, but a classic shape, used by Henrik Stenson to win the Deutsche Bank. Seymour, we know the story of Seymour, right? Payne Stewart using it at the 99 U.S. Open. The next day, Seymour got 50,000 phone calls. Suddenly, they weren't a small putter company anymore, but they still operate like a small putter company. They have unique aiming technology where you have a red dot and you kind of hide the dot and keeps the club face square. Mm-hmm. Bettinardi putters, again, have had success on tour, have won major championships. Jim Furyk has won a major with a Bettinardi putter. Vijay Singh has done it. Matt Kuchar's success has been with a Bettinardi putter the last few years.
I've always loved the look of the face of those. It looks like it's been handmade.
And these are the work of craftsmen, right? They are not interested in necessarily making 100,000 of anything. Mm-hmm. 1,000 is a big run for some of these guys, okay? Right. And again, this is a classic carbon steel milled classic shape from Bettinardi.
1,000 would be considered successful, and yet if they get it in the hands of a tour pro and they win a major, they might get a request order for 50,000.
Well, and they have to figure out whether they want to deal with that. Some of them don't, all right? And some are not concerned. I mean, Bobby Grace is another classic name, another kind of a garage guy who was able to get his putter in the hands of Nick Price. Nick Price wins the 1994 PGA with the Fat Lady Swings. Bobby becomes a household name, and he's still making putters. This is the next version of the Fat Lady Swings. It's got new technology in the face, but you know what's unique about these guys is they are still small. Mm-hmm. Bobby Grace will come to your club and spend a day making putters and fitting people for putters and preaching the gospel of Bobby Grace putters. That's how they operate, because
they show up in their car and they unload their equipment and they come and talk to you about their individual methods in manufacturing.
Right, and they're doing different things. Like I said, the left side of this table are smaller guys. Byron Morgan.
Even smaller than the small guy.
Byron Morgan was making surfboards, and he grew up working in his metal shop with his dad, and now he got into putters, and he uses 4 different kinds of carbon steel. He uses bronze, copper, whatever you want. You can draw it on a napkin. Byron Morgan will make you that putter. David Adell, big on fitting. He's got 65 sort of local fitters that understand his methodology. He uses different materials, different shapes, but it's all about getting the proper fitting putter so that you have proper aim and alignment and the stroke is smoother. Same thing with Couture, founded by Todd Sones, a top 50 teacher who teaches a specialized fitting method, again, to make the stroke easier and more consistent. All of these putters are doing something different, whether it's materials or philosophy.
How about a price range?
Well, depending on the materials, right? They can use different types of materials, but you're looking maybe in the high 200s, $300 as a starting point, all the way up to $1,000 if you're using some sort of exotic material like Damascus steel or something like that. But the beauty is, and I think the beauty of all putters is, you have a way to make this putter yours, and that's the appeal of this entire market right here.
And it's also neat because you invest in a putter, and you might get hot